There are those who believe that destiny lies on the knees of the gods, but the truth is that it confronts the conscious man with a burning challenge. These words spoken by Eduardo Galeano resonate with me since from a young age. I have been fascinated by Latin America and how it struggles to be unflawed from all the misfortunes that hits it. As someone that has experienced firsthand literature and economy inside and outside of Latin America, and through extensive research, through articles from Forbes, CNN, the New York Times, and Stanford University, I have a profound understanding of the impact of Latin America into the world. As members of the American society, especially as people living in Florida, we're directly influenced by Latin America, and it's beneficial to understand its culture. So by listening to me today, you will learn how Latin American literature and economy affects you. In order to do so, I'll be addressing the exports and importations Latin America does to first world countries, especially to the US. Secondly, I'll be talking about how literature is implemented in the American colleges and how it's molding the way how we speak and write in a globalized era. So let's get down to business with economics. Latin American economy depends on the exportation and importations of goods and resources to first world countries. According to an article written by founder of the Hispanic American Center of Economic Research, Alejandra Quiroz, Latin America continues to be key to the U.S. U.S. producers export 3 times more to the Latin American countries than to the Chinese. Central and South America, excluding Mexico, purchase 50% more of the U.S. goods than to China. There are countries such as Mexico, Chile, and Argentina, and Brazil, who holds the largest economy in the region as greatest exporters, according to a BBC article written by BBC Mundo. Then, as well as Latinos immigrating to the U.S. helped country's economy, according to Octavio Blanco, CNN's business correspondent, board member of National Association of Hispanic, estimates that Latinos will fuel nearly a quarter of the U.S. GDP growth. Helping to power that growth will be the growing number of young Latinos who will be joining the workforce as older generations of Americans leave or retire. Now that I have talked to economics, let's move on to literature. Latin American literature in colleges is molding the way society reads and writes. As I approach to my English composition 2, I worked with Gabriel Garcia Marquez, an old man with enormous wings, with the solely purpose to search for metaphors that expose us to the rhetorical form of literature this Colombian writer had to his readers. To be more excited about the importance of Latin American literature, there's an article written by the New York Times reporter, Edwin McDowell, where he gives an example of Mr. Colchi, former literature professor of Brooklyn College, that said, "It is a very fruitful period of Latin America," written in 1982. McDowell adds that is a growing number of books published in the United States are issuing translations of more books by Latin American writers than ever before. It includes books by Jorge Luis Borges, Gabriel Garcia Marquez, and Pablo Neruda. Also, reading this type of literature improves your skill to connect to the world. As Tim Winterbottom, a professor from Stanford University with a PhD in Iberian and Latin American culture, wrote on his article about Hector Hoyos, a scholar that argues that Latin American literature shows remarkably diversity and reveals trends in how people read and write. In today's globalized era, help us to shift critical perspective on our increasingly integrated and connected world. Now that I have talked about how beneficial and educated Latin American is to the world and the US and American colleges, it is indispensable to remind that even though Latin America is mostly about countries in development, the importance to know how it benefits our communities and our brains leads us to a more knowledgeable, cultured, and open-minded life. As I close, it is important to be aware how things from small or big countries can influence our lives in today's globalized era. And I would like you to leave 2 facts about Latin America. The official name of Mexico is the United Mexican States, and Bolivia was the first country to get rid of McDonald's. Thank you.